And I am really happy to introduce our next speaker, and she will speak on the topic which is very popular now here in Russia, and I hope that it will be really popular soon in your country when you will be able to work offline. But as the situation is not really easy, so you will face the problem when some of the students are offline and the one, two are online. So, and in Russia, we already widely use it. It's called hybrid education. Our next speaker, Karina Gribkova, will tell you how do they do it in their school, at their lessons. And we really hope that it will help you to prepare for now, I think, for everything. So we know how to work offline, online, how to work in hybrid variant. So we're really prepared for everything. So our smiles, our greetings to Karina Gribkova. So hybrid education is a real way out of all the difficulties. Yes, Karina, what do you think?
Oh, well, let me finish my talk and we'll see, okay?
Okay, so you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning, dear colleagues. Yulia, thank you for this great introduction. I really have nothing to add about myself. Let me start sharing my slides. Just a second. All right. Can you see my slides now? I hope yes.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Everything is fine. Good. Well, as Yulia said, the main aim of my talk today is to share my school's experience in launching the process of hybrid mode of learning. But before that, it seems logical to tell you a few words about the context I work in. Just a few words about my school. It's called Language Studio Welcome. It's a private language school which provides classes, English classes twice a week. We are located in a town near Moscow, and the school was founded 9 years ago. Since then, we've grown to 2 big offices, 40 staff members, and 1,000 students. The majority of our students are primary schoolers, about 70%. But we also teach very young learners and teenagers and adults. Well, till spring 2020, Welcome was a completely offline school. But then we had to adapt to the situation and undergo certain transformation to be able to provide students with online lessons, as I supposed most of you did. And this autumn we faced yet another challenge when the second wave of the pandemic happened. But in Russia, the national lockdown wasn't imposed. Instead, whole classes at school were sent on the quarantine if one student got sick, all through the contact. And in October, we realized that we have about 5 or 10% of our students who can't attend school, who can't attend extra classes. and they had to stay at home. And yes, this was the time when we realized that we have to mix students in class with those who were at home. Well, thus we decided to experiment with hybrid learning and hybrid lessons. To be honest, it was even more challenging than online classes, as teachers' attention has to be split between two groups, those who are in class and those who are joining a lesson via Zoom. And the major issues concern technology, administration, and of course methodology. Well, classrooms have to be properly equipped, and it should be possible for all the participants to communicate without this gap. From methodological point of view, it's vital to find tools to bridge this gap between the in-class students and remote students. From administrative point of view, the contact with students in quarantine increases, the number of daily phone calls increases. So we have to provide more support and coordination for this mode of learning. So I'd like to share some practical solutions that we found and that have helped us so far. And when we talk and when we introduce a change which is likely to affect all the staff members, it is recommended to follow this change management scheme. First, you have to evaluate the situation in your area. Do your clients really require this type of lessons when offline and online students are mixed together? Or is there a better option for your institution? Then, when you and your colleagues agree that hybrid learning is the best way to keep the clients at school, think of the new processes that will occur. Plan them, compose the necessary documents, and then when all the standards, all the new standards are established, prepare your staff for change. So staff training should be provided. Admins should learn how to deal with the new sort of complaints from the parents. Teachers should learn how to work with the new equipment, how to adapt their lessons to cope with both offline and online audiences. When everybody is ready, it's time to implement the change. Inform the clients and inform them about the new procedures. Highlight the difference between fully online lessons and hybrid lessons. They are different, and the participation will be different. Finally, further staff meetings should be scheduled in order to act on teachers' feedback, students' feedback, parents' feedback, to sustain this change successfully. Now, looking back at the administrative issues, my main advice here is to ensure that all the stakeholders follow the same rules. If admins are told that, just an example, if admins are told that a student can join a lesson online, no matter what their reason is, quarantine, illness, traveling, weather. And the teachers, at the same time, the teachers are told that only quarantine can be, an official quarantine is the only reason that can be is the only possible reason to take part in a lesson via Zoom. Well, it will certainly lead to chaos. That is why necessary documents and PDFs should be designed. And here are some things that can be taken into consideration. Again, it's very important. What reason for joining a lesson online? Is it a quarantine? Is it an illness? So agree on this. How long before a lesson a teacher should get a notification? Then if a student during the lesson experiences some technical problems, what is the algorithm of action? How should we mark their attendance? Then what is required from a student to join a lesson from home? What requirements should be fulfilled? Audio, video, how workspace should be organized. So we found it's really important to tell the parents that it's still a lesson. It would be much less effective if a student joins it from a car seat. So students should have a workspace, textbooks, suitable tech, laptop, earphones. So all these things should be discussed and documented. All right. Now let's talk about the technology and classroom layout. It's very important to have the right tools to keep group dynamics at an appropriate level. Well, apart from your laptop, think about a projector and the screen to project your materials, to project the image of students who join a lesson online. Then an additional web camera, or even better, a wide angle camera set on the class to provide the class view for students in Zoom should be connected to your laptop. And the last useful tool, which is completely essential for big classrooms, is a speakerphone. It captures all voices, students' voices, and teacher can change position more easily. It can be wireless. So it can be placed some distance from the laptop, in the middle of the classroom, for example. I know schools which use 2 or 3 speakerphones with really big classes. Well, these things would certainly make your life under hybrid learning circumstances much easier and keep, as I said, keep the group dynamics at appropriate level. Think about a classroom layout. Where would you stand? Where would all the tech place? Then all these extra cords that would appear in your class, how students would move. So it's quite important thing to take into account. Okay, Now moving on to the methodology issues. First, first thing that should be altered is the way we plan a lesson. Well, we should view this from the perspective of in-person and remote students. My colleagues and I find it really useful to include an additional column to a lesson plan in order to ensure that both groups are equally engaged in the lesson. This way, we also remind ourselves that we need to get responses from both offline and online students. Some other points to consider. Well, we are all aware that the more a teacher talks, the less focused students get. Reducing teacher talking time is a big issue in hybrid teaching, as students' concentration is less initially. Well, make it your personal goal to ask students as much as possible concept checking questions, form checking questions, rules, instructions checking questions, all types of questions. Delegate your role to the students. Encourage them to participate actively, to peer check, to monitor each other. Make them decide on the content of the lesson at some points. Keep them occupied. Use pair work and group work as much as possible. It's also a good chance to seize this opportunity and train them in using technology and online tools. However, they all have this experience of online learning. So most of them really feel at ease with these digital tools. Well, summing up, you need to place your students in the center of the lesson. Teacher-centered, teacher-led activities would be less effective in these circumstances. The next thing to be cautious about is balancing between online and offline components of a lesson. Well, when we start teaching hybrid lessons, it's quite comfortable, quite convenient to use e-versions of textbooks, because you don't have to give instructions to students who work with the textbooks and to students who join in Zoom. So we start using e-versions of textbooks mostly. Then we prefer Wordwall and Quizlet to real flashcards, games, to Realia. We use Google Slides to provide visual materials, to provide pictures for warm-ups, to present new language items. We use virtual whiteboards a lot because it's quite hard to place your camera so to demonstrate what you're writing on the real whiteboard. So yeah, online component starts prevailing. But in this case, students get tired and bored, and we need to balance the two components to avoid screen fatigue, to avoid eye strain. What can be done? Use brain breaks between the activities. For example, one of my favorite, and it's very easy, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It means you give instructions and you reduce the number of the things that students have to do. For example, jump 5 times, spin around 4 times, hop on one foot 3 times, clap twice, give your neighbor one high five. So just these short brain breaks can help. Use TPR where possible. Make your students respond to true, false statements by an action. For example, if you think it's true, touch your head. If you think it's false, touch your knees. If you think it's true, jump twice. If you think it's false, spin around. So things like this. You can drill lexis and grammar pretending to be different animals. It will also provide some movement for your students. Add arts and crafts. Doesn't mean that you have to come up with a whole project. Just simple cutting out small picture cards and gluing them in their notebooks will change the flow of the lesson and provide rest from the screen. Allow students some work individually in their paper textbooks. Nothing bad will happen if they work in their textbooks, especially those who are online. I observe some teachers who set a task to complete an exercise using commenting, this Zoom tool to fill in the gaps on the screen. And I understand why they do this. They want to control that the students is doing what they need them to do. But again, we need to think about their eyes and the screen fatigue. That's why allow them to work in their paper textbooks and just make them show that they have completed it. Pair work, we've discussed it. Mingling activities work well in hybrid teaching. And it's so fun. Students who are in Zoom, they're waiting for the others, the rest of the group come to the laptop and ask them different survey questions, and they also ask their questions. So yeah, mingling is perfect for hybrid learning. And I want to highlight this again. So balancing the offline and online components, it's really important. It's vital for very young learners, as we all know that their endurance is quite limited at this age. What else? Be prepared to troubleshoot. And be prepared, make a lot of on-the-spot decisions. Hybrid teaching relies on good technology. And if it's absolutely normal if something goes wrong, we need to get this experience to be able to make assumption about the lesson, to think about the possible problems that might arise during a hybrid lesson, and then think about suitable solutions. We need to keep trying, experimenting, searching for effective tools, develop our digital competencies, even if you have no desire for this. It's a new world and we are dealing with a new reality, and now I'm like 90% sure that hybrid lessons are with us for a long time, perhaps even forever, at least in Russia. Well, it's something that we won't be able to escape. Of course, it's new, it's challenging, it's demanding, but we just need to stay calm and regard this as a chance to develop and grow professionally. So this is the way, and nothing can be done to change it. So stay calm, yeah? And now I want to have fun with you a bit. Let's try to imagine a situation when you have to give a hybrid lesson, but you can have your ideal classroom layout. Now, I suggest you can either, I'll get back, scan this QR code, or I will copy the link onto the chat box. Okay. Where is it? Here it comes. Okay. Oh no, it's the wrong one. Okay. I'll do it like this. Well, I hope you can follow the link, and let's have some fun. Let's try to imagine our ideal classroom layout. Think about where the students would sit, where would you stand, where would be the cameras, what kind of equipment you would have. And if you follow the link, you can draw a bit on your own whiteboard. I hope some of you has joined my whiteboard class. Let's see. Okay, super. I see that you're started drawing. Yeah, when we deal with something new, we need to allow ourselves some fantasy, some imagination. Imagine something that's never happened before. Okay, so think about your board, your laptop, where would be the cameras, the microphones, where would be the students. Okay. I see that some of you are taking this seriously and drawing a real classroom, but some are just having fun to draw funny pictures. St. Valentine's, right? Today, hearts, flowers. Okay, so this picture by Ala. Yeah, Ala is trying to share her ideal classroom with us. The desk, the board, cameras. Okay, well, you can keep drawing there, and I will share the print screen with Julia. Maybe she will later send it to you. And let me get back to my slides. Well, thank you very much for your attention. Feel free to contact me if you want to talk more about hybrid teaching. Here is my email. You can also find me on Instagram. You can visit my school's website and see some photos from hybrid lessons there. Okay. Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
Dear colleagues, maybe if you have any questions, you may ask them with your voice, maybe, because we really think that this type of teaching you will face really soon, and maybe any questions, any ideas, anything else. I suppose it's inevitable. So, Karina, what do you think?
Well, I've been talking to many colleagues from different countries, and most of them are facing hybrid mode of teaching at this moment. There are different modes actually. Some schools, especially state schools, they prefer keeping students studying from distance, and they can come to school like twice a week. But mostly we have this mode that I just described, offline and online students in one class.
So, and I think I agree with Jana, who said that it's better than only online teaching, yeah? So it's better to have hybrid variant than only closed. So government can't afford it. So I suppose we mostly speak about private schools now, yeah? But maybe some schools also can afford it. We'll see.
We'll see. And I agree with Jana as well. And I can add that it's better to have hybrid lessons than the situation when your students miss classes, like
and when they, for example, miss lessons, and because I think nowadays what I can see that people can join us online not only because of the coronavirus, but because he has got other different health problems, and he can join the lesson. So and it's a great way out, for almost every situation, but for he or she is lying with a high temperature. In all the other situations, students can join us. Is it possible to show a piece of a lesson? Karina, have you got any something like this anywhere?
Well, I'm not sure that I have a lesson recorded because I observe lessons in person, but I'll think about it.
So, okay, can you then please share your contacts again, or so maybe your colleagues will ask for something. For teachers, so what can we do? We should adapt to the situation, and it's better to work than not to work. So that's why even private teachers can, a lot of private teachers in Russia, freelancers who have groups or even small groups. For example, I have one child at home, or one child in class, and so it's okay nowadays. Okay.
Yeah, and it also applies to teacher training. Or we have some teachers who conduct only online lessons, and they are in different cities in Russia. And we are now having hybrid teacher trainings even. We connect them to the trainings.
Yeah, and for all the situations, for all spheres, we can use it.
Yeah.
Okay, if there are no more questions, so again, let's thank Karina for all her ideas, for everything she told about it, and we're really happy that we could introduce you this new type of teaching, and you will be ready for it if you need it. Okay, so thank you, Karina. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure.